what made you get into this business?
So I grew up in it.
Okay.
My dad's been doing it since the early 80s, and I actually worked with him too. I've been up on the roof, on the ladders. I put that work in. I did 10 solid years of that. And then, well, you know, with kids and stuff, it's hard to continue it. So I just I ran the family business from, you know, the back. And then actually I got out of it for a bit. And then during COVID, I think we decided, you know, like, what do we do? You know, how do we stay busy? And then, you know, we were just like, okay, well, I already know the siding industry and you know, what's involved with it. And then Nick was laid off. And yeah, I guess we just jumped right back into, I jumped right back into the siding industry. And then, yeah, I'll let you guys, Nick, tell his story.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been in it for like a while now.
I've been in it, yeah.
I'm a lot more fresh.
Yeah.
So what were you doing before that?
So my background is actually in aviation. I used to be an aircraft maintenance engineer. I was working at Mitsubishi and Bombardier and just different places like that. And then when COVID happened with the airlines and everything like that, you can imagine the airplanes took a really heavy hit. And our program went from like a few hundred people down to like 30. So a lot of us, like 85% of us or so, got laid off right around just after Christmas, I guess, when that was all happening in February, March.
Yeah.
And so I just found myself at home, and it's been a while since I had like that much time, because I've been going like 12 years consistent with no breaks. Even when I switched from company to company, I would leave on Friday and I'd start on Monday at the next spot. So I never had a break. And then when COVID happened, it was like I didn't really know what to do with myself, because I was always working 12 hours a day. With aviation, you start at 5, 6 in the morning, you come home at 5, 6 at night.
So then what did you do? What did you do at that time?
I honestly, for a while, I was going a little bit crazy. And then I guess she saw it. And she was probably going a little bit crazy too, with all this time and this and that.
There was nothing to do, like really nothing.
It was a crazy time.
Nothing,
yeah, like once you got through Tiger King in the first couple of weeks, it was like now
That's
what?
True,
Now we've watched all the shows we haven't watched and caught up on this and caught up on that. And now we were expecting a few weeks or so, and it ended up being a few years in this. And we're still kind of in it, I guess. I don't know. I catch it sometimes every now and again, but basically when all this free time started happening, we were just wondering, what should we do? Is there something that we can do? Like, because none of us wanted to go work for somebody again. I didn't want to have my and her like livelihood and this and that in the hands of just someone that can just say, you're laid off today, just like how it was. Because when I woke up that morning, I had plans to do work, and I had plans for my airplane and how to get it ready and this and that, and then they just said, hey, sorry.
You weren't expecting that at all.
I wasn't expecting.
Just turned your world upside down.
Exactly, yeah, and I was expecting for them to keep more than like 30 people or so that they kept, but because we were in the hundreds.
It's a huge cut.
It was a huge cut, and it was drastic. It was within a 2-week period where just every day a small group got, every day basically 20 here, 10 here, 30 here, throughout 2 weeks. So every day we're saying goodbyes and goodbyes and goodbyes, and as long as it goes, you're like, then maybe I made the cut. And on the last Friday, that's when I think they did like 150 person cut, and just left the 30 or so remaining, and that's kind of just what led us to have the conversation of what should we do. We need, and we wanted to start our own business. And she's like, well, I know this and that, and I said, well, I know this and that, and we got back and forth, and then we finally said, you know what, let's give siding a try, and aluminum and things like that, because of her extensive background and her dad, who's like a MacGyver of sorts when it comes to this specific industry. He's very creative with how he does things. You can't follow him. He'll snip here, snip there, do this, flip it, turn it around, and all of a sudden it's gorgeous. But if you try to mimic what he's doing,
sounds like he's an expert.
Yeah.
You can't. It's hard because he skips steps in explaining. He doesn't skip steps in doing the work, but he's just so fast and so natural to him. It's just sometimes hard to like.
He expects you to be like, oh, that's common sense.
It's almost to
when
him.
You've been in it as long as he has, I think that it's just it's second nature to him.
So he's part of your team as well.
He's part of our team. Yeah, he works with us too.
What's his main role?
He's also a GM together with Zoran. They take on all the tricky stuff. Like whenever we're like stumped and we're like, okay, how do we handle this? How we're gonna do this one or that one? We recruit them, I guess, send them off to it, and they take a look at it and they're like, okay, guys, this is what we're gonna do, and they come up with a game plan.
I got you. So in like that period of like just waiting after watching all of these shows and talking together, coming up with the idea, how did you meet Zoran and stuff?
It was actually funny because I thought I had an original idea, but apparently it wasn't because Zoran had already done it.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen it, and what we were thinking of, because her dad had a trailer attached to like a pickup or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would see the issues that he would come across having a trailer, and sometimes going to these tight neighborhoods, especially in Toronto and whatnot. It's hard to maneuver, and it's even harder to park a trailer sometimes at a job site. So I was like, what can we do to kind of figure this out and have it
So that we can have a workshop also
yeah
in the
basically
vehicle, kind of. Right?
and without having to, like, a lot of people love the trailer thing where they'll drop the trailer and the truck will leave and then the guys will stay or whatever. But for us, that's a lot more, for me at least, it's a lot more hassle. I'd rather just have what we ended up doing, a Sprinter with a workshop in the back and 3 seats in the front. A crew can go out, they have their tools, they have the brake, they have the each-trough machine, they got saws, whatever specialty tools that we might need for a particular job. It's just all there, and it takes up this car and a half spot on the road, so it doesn't take up like 2 or 3 like a trailer would. And you can just parallel park as opposed to not being able to do anything with a trailer essentially on those, especially like we did a job recently for one of our builders. It didn't even have room for one car. It was like really crazy because people were parked up on like the sidewalk a little bit, and you have to drive a little bit on the sidewalk on the left side just to drive through the street. It was actually
this was Toronto, East York. So if you can imagine,
and it was the tightest street I have ever been on. It was nuts. But if we didn't have a Sprinter or something like that, it would have been a lot more difficult. And
if you were still operating under that truck and trailer,
that's right.
Area, it would have not done or what?
We probably would have figured it out, but it's just
the hassle
of doing circles in the neighborhood to trying to find a spot. Maybe you're 30 houses down, so if you need to get a screwdriver, you need to walk 30 houses down, grab it, come back, do your thing, and then if you forgot something else, down the street again, or maybe even on the street over, depending wherever you can find it. Right? So that's Toronto for you. And so we took all these issues that I guess like her dad was coming across and trying to find how can we eliminate or at least alleviate some of these problems. And I said, why don't we get the extended Sprinter, basically our setup with everything like that. So I'm starting to like hunt on Google Sprinter each-trough setup, and I can't find anything. Like I'm like, wow, I'm onto something, I thought. And I'm looking, and then I finally come across an ad, and the ad is the Sprinter, but it says business for sale. And I'm like, well, let me check this out. And basically, it had everything that we wanted and some. It came already with some name brand recognition and history and all that other stuff. And it came with what my most important thing was the Sprinter, but it was already done. Whereas we would have had to buy a Sprinter
and fix it up.
Buy the tools, buy another brake, etc. This was just,
it was ready.
We just signed some paperwork and it was ours, basically.
It's like it was meant to be or something.
Basically, yeah.
Cool.
And so we reached out to, I guess, Zoran's real estate agent, set up a meeting. We came here, where we're sitting right now, and talked a little bit. Zoran took us on a tour. He showed us the trucks. And on our drive home from that day, I just looked at her. I'm like, we should just pay asking. And just buy it. Like, no negotiation, no this, just whatever he wants, this is worth it. And so we said, cool. We went through all the paperwork and the this and the that's and made the offer. Zoran graciously accepted, and the rest is history, basically. Well, 2 years.
So he accepted, and then did he still want to be part of the business, or did you guys want him to be part of it as well?
I think it was both. I think he was ready to let go of some responsibilities, but I don't think he wanted to let go of the daily grind.
Okay.
Like even with her dad, these guys are in their 60s, her dad closer to 70, but they love working. They love producing. They love. We tell them, sit here and make sure that the 4 guys or 5 guys are doing a great job. If they have some specialty things, do it, whatever. But for the most part, supervise and quality control. And we'll show up on site at like break time. We'll bring some coffees for the guys. And we'll see her dad 30 feet in the air.
Up on the ladder, yeah. They can't,
He still
both
enjoys
of
it
them,
then.
yeah.
He loves it.
Oh, they
He
do,
loves it.
yeah.
That's
they love
amazing.
it. That's their purpose. That's their purpose in life, right? So,
Yeah.
And even, I get, Carlos is her dad, we get him, he likes to work every day. So like on weekends too, Saturdays, I'll try to get some small stuff or services or stuff to get him. He loves leaving the house, he loves working, he just loves moving, basically, right? So it's been hard to settle them down a little bit and act their age, so to speak, but because they're moving like they're 25.
That's good though.
But they're 65.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't want them to also get hurt or this or that, because like recovery at 70 versus recovery at 20 is drastically different, right?
Yeah.
If you hurt yourself, that could be it for at 70. You might not walk right again, whereas at 25 you have some time to recover and you can figure it out, physio, this, that, whatever. So it's hard to get these old timers, and we have a few of them on our crew as well. They're stubborn. They want to just work. They want to do this. They want to work weekends. They'll work Sundays even too if you want. It's like nonstop. With her dad, it's if we don't get him to work on a Saturday, we'll come home at lunch and we'll find him. He's changing his wife's Susie's mom's brake pads on the driveway.
He's got to do something.
He's got to do
There's-
something.
Yeah.
That's good.
So then I looked at her. I'm like, we should have just got him to come in today, because her mom Rosa's got him doing something else instead, right? So like, he's always moving. He's always doing something. Very rarely do you see. I think it's a generational thing. They don't like to just hang out. They just got to be busy. He'll even go into the backyard and do something that doesn't need to be done.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be done. But he'll redo something he did.
You're just
Just
like,
to-
I can relate.
I've seen that.
And I'll just look out the patio door and I just see him doing something. I'm like, what are you doing? Relax.
Just a new
It's Sunday.
idea. Yeah, exactly.
Sunday. Let's go for
Let's
lunch or
relax.
something
Yeah,
instead.
exactly.
And he's like, no, I'm gonna cut the grass. Grass doesn't need to be cut because it was cut like 5 days ago.
Yeah, it sounds like they just
Yeah.
enjoy it.
They just
going
enjoy
there,
it.
so, like,
Yeah,
they
they
got the
really-
momentum
they love
still.
it.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
We're
good.
lucky.
So then you got the van was like your main thing that you wanted, but then you got the business with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we actually ended up getting more vans, like because we have a cube truck as well.
So
And-
before we go into that, did Zorn build these vans himself, or
Yeah.
He did. The inside of it is organized in a way where we've got our E-Stroff machine, and on top of that, we've got our metal brake. That's what we use for our aluminum, our bending, our capping of the windows, our trims.
It sounds like you
All
guys are
that
just
stuff.
more efficient that way too. It makes
We
like,
are,
the-
yeah. To have the
more
workshop
efficient.
in the vehicle,
Yeah.
it makes so much more sense.
So
And,
Sure.
yeah.
the people that would be, I guess, like considered your competitors, are they doing anything similar with like their setup, their workspace setup?
There's a few, and when I say few, I very stress the word few
Okay.
that do it that way.
Uh-huh.
Majority, and you'll see them at like the suppliers when they're picking up their material. Like we're all just waiting in the back to.
Because you pick it up from the same place.
Well,
you're saying?
we all have the same 5 or 6 suppliers, like
Yeah.
max, right? If you go to your K-Cans, your Gentex, your Royals, and that's pretty much it for aluminum. You have OEM and a few other spots too, but it's very few spots. You don't have 100 places that you can go to.
So you see them often.
So you see, and sometimes you see the same guys, and you'll see it. They have their unmarked vans. They'll open the back door. 3 or 4 things will fall out.
It's like my dad.
And then they'll put those 3 or 4 things back in, and then pile like a bunch of other stuff that they just purchased on top, so that when they close it and open it when they get to the site, all that stuff is going to fall out again. But that's just what works for them, I guess. Like some people, it looks like, for lack of a better term, it looks like a shit show in the back. But if you ask them where's the snips or where's the hammer, it's in that corner underneath that box, underneath that wrapper of whatever. They know their truck, but it looks.
Oh.
It doesn't look good. When
Doesn't
you show
look
up to a
good.
customer's house and you've got that much disorganization, it doesn't give the customer the confidence that
Yeah,
you're you're gonna do the job right.
And certain tools like to move the brake is, it's not really heavy like an e-shop machine, but it's heavy. It should be a two-man kind of thing. To move that in and out every single day, in, out, you risk damaging the brake, which is thousands of dollars, and two, you're hurting yourself, straining yourself back and forth and putting it on the stand or whatever. Whereas we just have it fixed. You walk in, we have a little coil cradle that just pulls out the aluminum to whatever length, snip, break, bend, and out the door, out the back, and then to the house.
Way
so
faster.
even in the summer, we're bending out of the sunlight, or whatever the case might be for weather-wise, because we're protected because we're in the back of the truck, as opposed to pulling everything out and working on the driveway.
Working on the driveway under the sun.
Does that have an impact just on the workers or like the material itself?
Not the material. The material will always be fine. It's more for the workers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more for
and the machinery too, right? Because if you lug things back and forth and drop it and this and that,
I understand.
and they're now brakes, if you're lucky, you get them for like $3 or $4 on the lower end, but they have like nicer brakes now that are $6, $7, $8, $10. And so if you're lugging out a $10 thing every day, eventually, if you're expecting to get 10 years out of it, you might have just shaved years off of that life and damaging it. Or maybe you might break something small. These things, if you break something small on a brake, it might damage the whole, like the whole brake might be useless now, which happened to us. We had a beautiful brake, some minor thing broke that wasn't fixable, and the brake went in the garbage basically. I had a special guy come check it out, look at it, says, this is, you can use it, but it's not going to be mint. And for us, we need everything to be mint when it goes on the house, because I can't say to you, we would have been great had I had a perfect brake, but I don't. And you're like, well, that's not my problem. So we have to make sure that our equipment, our money makers, especially the brake and the e-shop machine, those are fixed, they don't move, and they're protected, and they're just in good shape basically all the time, because that if we can't bend something, we can't make money. If we can't pull an e-shop out of the make a fabricated piece and put it on the house, we can't make money. So with screwdrivers and this and that, you can always go to Home Depot, grab something small, but these specialty items, we got to really take care of them. So inside the workshop of the truck, out of the elements, out of the this, out of the that, is the best. It also looks professional when you walk to a site.
So would you say the efficiency and like on your part, would you say that's what kind of separates like CanMacSiding from possibly some of the other competitors? Just the attention to detail with the work that you do.
The attention to detail. I don't necessarily think that the setup, for example, makes us more like noticeably efficient, because once you take out the brake and put it on your stands, you're set up technically, right? So it's just a matter of, we save 20 minutes on startup by having it the way it is, but it's just we're able to then control the quality better because we have a fixed setup. We know our setup basically. So if we need to do it like this or do it like that, we know that we're capable of doing it. It was where you might be on an uneven surface on a lawn, or and the brake is like this, and you're moving it, and then it's shifting, and then your piece, instead of being 3/4 inch, moves out to 1 inch, and now your bend is crooked. So it's like a lot of that can go wrong when you're not in a fixed setup. So, but if you're able to do it like that and be great at your job, you can be just as efficient. It just doesn't look as good, and you're opening yourself up to potentially more problems or scrap pieces where you might have to bend the same piece 3 times, where if you just did it in a nice setup properly, whatever, you did it once and done. So it's in a way it can be more efficient, but if someone's really good at what they do, they can find ways out of that too, right?
Definitely.
But it's the attention to detail, it's those things, it's doing things right the first time, not the 4th or 5th, or have it being pointed out, which is the worst. Hey, what's that in that corner over there? And you look and you're thinking to yourself like, shit, that's no good.
So it sounds
what am I gonna say right now? They're right.
It sounds like the quality and standards is something that you guys take like really really seriously, which Honestly,
Absolutely.
it's something
100%.
something great to have.
We treat every house as if it was our own. And actually, I am the perfectionist. I will go on site and point things out, and the guys hate me for it. But I will point things out. This is not right. I don't like this. Can we look for another way to do this? Or whatever it is. I'm looking for those because I'm treating it like it's my house.
Yeah.
And at the same time, too, I want to give these people as close to perfect that I can, get and give it to them. And I want them to be, like, happy about it. I don't want anything negative attached to it. I just want them to be excited and just loving their house.
Amazing.
Do you show up to every project?
At the end, yeah, we show up
Nice.
to every project. We do a walkthrough with the client, and we'll go through. We'll nitpick the tiniest of things. Like yesterday, we went through a project, and she didn't like the caulking. She didn't like the caulking the way it was done, and we agreed with her. It wasn't the greatest, but we're gonna go back. We're gonna redo it. We're gonna take it off, and.
What did she like about it?
I think it was the area. You saw more of it, right?
It was an area that requires caulking, but she didn't want it.
Oh.
And I explained why we caulked it, and she said, "I'm cool with not having it."
It was a light
So
fixture.
I said,
that,
"Cool, if
Yeah.
you don't want it."
It was a
that's
light
fine.
fixture that was sitting on top of siding, and so we need to caulk it to seal it so that no water gets in behind. And so she didn't want that, and that, I guess she wants it taken off.
And then I just said, in a day when it cures, it can just peel right off, and you're good to go.
Oh.
So how often do you kind of run into situations where like a client like that kind of wants to make a change on the fly, and
every day.
Yeah.
Every
And
day.
you're just really adaptable, and you really work with your clients to make that change, or
Even if we don't like it, we really don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Because if they say, I want my thing to be blue on this one, and originally was scheduled to be gray for whatever reason or something like that, I can't say, hey, I'm still going to put a gray one. We accommodate even last second things. We'll scream and yell about it behind closed doors or whatever, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
And for the most part, we on those changes too, we kind of like, depending on the client, especially if this is like an ongoing thing where we have a history, we're very flexible. We have a couple builders that they have their vision, and then they'll have a dream, and then the next day, like, I thought about it in my dream, it looked better having the columns move like here.
Yeah.
And the drawing will say the columns here, here, and here, but move everything 7 inches to the left. So we're like, okay, cool. So then we'll move it. We don't go by drawing. We'll go by what the builder says and accommodate that. And it sucks when we've already done the work according to the blueprint, and then the change happens after, which happens all the time too. If they're able to catch it, or not catch it, if they're able to tell us before we actually did it, that's obviously preferred. But sometimes we'll have a job fully done, and the builder be like, it looks beautiful, but I want bigger windows here now that I see it. So can we remove all this, reframe to have a windows the size and a half, and then redo it? And I'm like, well, we don't kind of have the siding for this now because it's installed. And if I take wood siding off, it's probably going to be damaged or cracked or this or that because it's nailed in nice. It was nailed in with the intentions of never moving. So now we have to order more siding.
Yeah.
Wood siding can be anywhere between 4 to these days 12 weeks. So depending on the color or the profile or and who you're getting it from, that's the range. So something small could all of a sudden delay it 8 weeks. Not because of us, but we need this particular supplier to send it, and they're like, cool, no problem, it'll be there at the end of the month. Now we're like, what are we going to do? Now we have to come back to a job that we finished and kind of screw up our schedule a little bit to do all that kinds of things like that. So long story short, we accommodate everything. We're not happy about it sometimes because it ruins the next person. Not so much the work bothers us, it's the scheduling, and it's those hard phone calls with next week's job. Hey, I promised you Tuesday, but it's going to be Thursday. Or sometimes it's worse than that. Sometimes it's on time.
Those could be hard conversations.
Those are hard because
Really
the
hard,
people there think, well, you said Thursday, and if you said Thursday, that means you know what's going on with your company to know that Thursday works. And now it's not Thursday, now it's Friday or Monday or whatever. And to me, if someone was to call and say, hey, I know I was supposed to be there on Friday, but I'm going to be there on Monday, I personally wouldn't care as a client. That's my personality. I understand, right? But some people, I don't know, they just think that like they're the most important person in the world and I need to figure out something else to accommodate that Thursday install instead of a Friday install. Which you get customers like that sometimes.
It sounds like some people understand it and some people just don't understand
most
it.
people understand it, and there's a few that, like, if it's raining, I can't work. If it rains 2 days in a row, I can't work. So if I tell you on Monday, or a snowstorm, if I tell you on Monday, and Monday, Tuesday rains, I'm going to be there on Wednesday. Or, which is the worst part, is if I have 5 days for a job and I lose 2 to rain, the next week I have to make up those 2 days. So if I say I'm going to be there on Monday, it's really going to be Wednesday now because I lost 2 days this week. But because sometimes it's a week or two away, they forgot about that rainstorm. And they're like, well, no, you still said Monday. I'm like, yeah, but did you forget the 4 days of rain we lost in this month?
Yeah.
So and then it's like, well, I don't know how to explain it that I'm not God. And I can't just say, we're not going to rain today. So-and-so's person's house needs to get done. I don't have that type of power. And they think that we do somehow.
I get you. So it sounds like people skills is something that if you didn't have before getting into this business, is something that you've had to like develop like after starting it.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't have it before, this is not the place to learn because there's some customers that'll just eat you up, like really make you feel like shit, and you shouldn't because it's not a big deal. Or like one time we were there, we said we'll be there around 10 o'clock in the morning. At 9:59, the lady calls and is like, "No one's here." I'm like, "It's not even 10 technically. It's 9:59. Like they're on the way." Oh, okay. What intersection are they at right now?
Oh my god.
And I'm like, I don't know. They left the shop 20 minutes ago. It takes 45 minutes to get there. I imagine they'll be there within the next 20 minutes. Oh, but you said 10 o'clock and now they're gonna show up at like 10:45 or 10:30. I said, yeah, well, I don't control the traffic. There's an accident or this or that. So, oh, okay. And then she calls back like 20 minutes later. They're not here yet. I said, they're going to be there. They're on the way. We have nothing else to go and do other than your house. They're on the way. And then when they showed up, she calls us to let us know, okay, they're finally here. I'm like, okay, thanks. I know. They called me and said, hey, we're starting.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just like, it was so unnecessary. We're there. We said 10. We showed up at 10:30. But we got 3 phone calls and angry phone calls. One from the husband and one from the wife.
Wow. Yeah, sometimes.
For a half an hour.
Were they happy with the job after?
The house looks mint.
The house is amazing.
I would move in there.
It's beautiful.
Like the house looks mint.
It's black and white vinyl siding. The trim work is black and the siding is white, but they also went with a mixed horizontal and board and batten. And it's stunning. It's stunning. Like, I'll show you guys pictures. You guys are gonna like, wow.
So it was worth it, the lecture.
Oh yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it. Yeah.
Like,
there's no way that she can say anything.
With the way it looks, even if we give him a 30-day delay, it should have been like super happy with how it turned out. Because one thing that I don't understand is, okay, yeah, the siding guys were supposed to come on this date and this, that, whatever. And let's say we delay them because of a day of rain or 2 days of rain or whatever. They're acting as if once we're done our work, they're able to move in.
Oh.
Okay.
But they're not. The whole interior is just gutted and ready for drywall. So, like, I don't know how I've delayed your moving in date. Because I'll finish, instead of Wednesday, I'll finish on Friday. But you're not moving in on Monday, even if I finish. So, like, I don't know what the big push is. Like, to ask about like intersections and things like that, because I'll go there right now. We've been done that job like 3 weeks. I can guarantee you drywall isn't done.
Oh, I bet.
So like, you got to be realistic within your build. I understand that not all trades act like us. Not all trades and companies give the service and the quality and the attention that we do, and sometimes we have to take that into consideration. That maybe the plumber and the electrician completely ruined this person's experience and patience and everything, and now we're coming in at the end usually because the framing needs to be done, a lot of trades happen long before we even get there. So a lot of patience has already been tested by the time we show up for even just day one. So sometimes we catch a lot of the problems have been ongoing for like the last 2 months.
You could get a bullwhip effect of the.
And we've been there for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, but we catch a lot of the anger at the end because it's at the end. And anything that we delay even for a day, it's like, oh, another delay on top of the 6 months of delays that we've already got for whoever.
That could be a.
So, but to us, it's extremely minor.
Exactly.
But to them, it's another one of the 1,000 things that they've dealt with. So they treat us at the end with the zero patience that they once had, that the other trades ate up. So it sucks in that respect because we're one of the final trades to go there essentially, right?
So, and so like, let's say those people waited for you those 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, but then you ended up doing amazing work. Now, how long are people waiting to get you guys in if they just called you today, for example?
So if we got a phone call today, I would have to tell them somewhere in mid-March.
Mid-March?
And we are in, mid-November right now?
Yeah.
Exactly. And so
yeah, we're about
help us understand that, like, why? Like, are you guys taking Christmas off, the whole December off? Like, why is that?
I wish.
We
Definitely
have
would be nice.
3 really big projects for January and February. 3 wood siding projects. One was the one I showed you guys, that one there on the screen there, the really big one. And then we have 2 fairly decent sized houses side by side. And that's our January and February. Plus whatever might trickle in that from our December jobs that might trickle into a little bit of January. Because I don't know what snow and this and that is going to happen over the next 2 months, right? So
so you're kind of, it sounds like you're like scheduling for like some delays to maybe happen because of weather.
We have to, we account. We
and
give them 3 days.
even like if this house would normally in the summer take us 4 weeks, I would say 6 weeks, because in the winter the guys are moving slower. There need to be more breaks to warm up, like things of that nature. So a 4-week job turns into 6 weeks kind of thing, right? So we got to account for basically all of those weather related and just kind of things in working in the winter. I know a lot of guys in our trades that I see them at like the suppliers and stuff. Oh, I'm going back home for 2 months in January and February because to see my mom and dad and whatever, and because we're not working. So they'll take 3 months off and come back in March and hit it back up again.
Wow.
For us, we can't even go for like a week to Mexico right now because it's just so even if we're taking a day or 2 off, something's gonna get missed, and that something could like pile up. Because that's how busy we are, and me and her, we not that we're like control freaks, but we like to make sure that our hands touch everything to make sure that it has the CanMac way, the right customer service, making sure that next week's jobs are already prepped for a week in advance. Because if I take a week off, I'll know that week is good, but when I come back on Sunday and show up on Monday, that week could be disaster. Like we don't have the material didn't show up, and I didn't know that because I'm in Mexico or whatever. And so like it's things of like the anticipation of the couple weeks after the vacay that you need to be able to.
You also need to be able to plan for those. I guess.
Yeah. While you're gone, right?
Yeah.
And like while you're on the beach, you don't want to have your laptop out checking your Outlook.
No, but reality is we will.
Exactly.
But
right when you're a business owner,
it doesn't
no
stop.
option.
So like
follows you everywhere.
Exactly.
And every little thing, everyone looks to you and to her, right? So it's like if it doesn't come to me, it goes to her. If it doesn't go to her, it comes to me. So it's like, and we share everything. So like whether I got hit with it, I might say I need your help, or vice versa. So it's like now
rely on each other.
And now we're all involved with everything, kind of thing. We do delegate a lot, but there's also, it's more so my problem. I like to make sure that things are done perfect and ready to go, and I'm a little bit OCD, so it drives her a little bit crazy.
How does that come up, like during work?
During work? Okay, so here's a crazy
Sounds like
story.
there's some stories.
He's so funny. We were just talking about it yesterday. So he's got, when he puts his quotes together, everything has to end in a 0. There can't be any cents. So he'll go through the quotes and just take all the, just make sure everything's an even number. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then just even in the car, like we're going to pick up material and the temperature has to be, because it's dual, right? It has to be both set on the same.
Oh,
just little things like that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the other side needs to be colder than this side. It's just, we're like
It's just
shoulder to shoulder.
I don't even know how that works. How can you even have to?
I don't even bother. It's 22 for everybody or whatever. It's just what it is.
So kind of switching things up, the first thing that I noticed coming in here was the selection of all the products that you guys have, and I guess when we came at the same time as a brand rep from
CamClad.
Yeah, from CamClad. So what goes into like picking brands that you want to work with?
So top quality.
Okay.
Quality is always going to be 100%. Quality, it has to be durable, especially made for Canadian weather. Because there are products out there that aren't. They're better off in Florida or
And
hotter
they're beautiful
temperatures.
products.
And they are. They're
like
beautiful
if we had
products.
a Florida
Yeah.
climate, like
Yeah.
it would be used on here, or whatever, California climate or whatever you want to call it.
It's just not built for you.
It's just not for a Toronto
No.
or
Or
GTA.
just Canadian weather. Canadian weather. So so quality of the product, just modern, and for it to be cost effective for our clients, because there are also a lot of things out there that look similar in terms of style and color, but some are just like priced way out to lunch. And people can't afford it, right? And it's like, how can this is beautiful. Like, take, for example, the fluted siding. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. They want to put it up, walls here, there. And then when they hear the price, they're just like, oh, I can't afford it. Like, this is just way too much. Way more than than it requires. So then I got to show them another option. And for me, it sucks because they're disappointed. So, and I'm thinking, well, what the hell am I going to show them now? Because they got super excited about that one product. So what do I show them now? But luckily, we do have a lot of options. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we're very, I guess, what's the word? Vendor neutral here.
Yeah.
Where we don't exclude anyone that has a good product and a good name behind it.
Yeah.
Because you'll see here, we have, like when the guy from CamClad walks in, he sees Sadgerper, which is his direct competitor. He sees Cedar Renditions, which is his direct competitor, all within 3 feet of each other here.
Yeah.
So what we like to do is, you say, for example, this is great for a porch ceiling. So if you like Cedar Renditions colors, these are the 9 colors there. This is what CamClad has to offer, and this is what Sadgerper has to offer. And these are the colors here, the colors here, and the colors here. The profiles here, etc. These are your 3 options in this price point. What do you like? And then they'll say, I like this one and I like that one, but maybe I don't like that one. And we're like, cool, so let's focus on these 2. And then we'll narrow it down within these 2 further. And then now they'll pick between Royal's Cedar Bark, for example, and one of CamClad's, like, I don't know, bleached something oak or whatever.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're like giving them options. You're not just pushing one
No.
product.
No,
or one
I
company.
personally, I don't have, like, I have my favorites that I like.
Personally.
If I was building
Yeah.
a house,
Yeah.
what I would use and the colors that I would use.
That you like.
But that's for my house,
Yeah.
right? Like, for example, I have coastal charcoal Maybach on my house, wood siding. I love the coastal charcoal. Some people don't like coastal charcoal, but they'll go with a different gray. What we do is we try to make sure that no matter what you want, we have something for you. For example, wood siding and Hardy, they have a custom color program. You give them a paint color code, Benjamin Moore, Sherwin's, whatever, and they'll give you that color. So you're not stuck with the 10 or 20 or 30 colors that the manufacturer has. You can literally, they'll send it to a paint shop and give you whatever you want. So some people are like, I like blue, but I don't like this blue. I'm like, well, what blue do you like? And they're like, well, I like, I don't know, navy blue from Benjamin Moore. So I said, fantastic. I'll have that shipped out to your house directly, and you tell me if you like it. And then the suppliers will ship out directly with the custom color. And if you like it, you sign the back, you give it to me, and I put in the order. So there's a lot of customizing, even when it doesn't seem like there's a lot of customizing, like options available. For me personally, as an installer, while for example one brand might look amazing, it might be really hard or difficult or bad to install. Or after the installation, it's not enough of a locking mechanism where I'm comfortable where that's not going to pop out. Because some of them, they all have locking mechanisms, but some are a lot better than others. Or the way they clip into each other on a ceiling or on a wall. So I know which ones work best for the quality of the job. So we pick those ones to showcase. We have everyone here. But when you say, I want to do a porch ceiling, there's 40 options. But I'll say these 5. Because I know those ones are great for install, great for finish, multiple colors to choose from depending on who you go with. And the warranties are, like for example, CanMac has 50 years.
50 years.
We'll dive into the warranties with the clients too.
Oh yeah,
We'll let them know 100%.
So-
Everything.
So if something happens, does the client come to you guys or to CanMacSiding?
They come to us.
They'll come to us.
Okay.
They'll come to
And
us
then we go
and
to
then we
That's
go.
that's
we'll
good to
reach
hear
out.
too. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
I
yeah.
dealt with you. You know, why would I have to go deal
Exactly.
with somebody else?
Yes.
Exactly. No, we will walk you through. We did have an example where that happened, where we had to call the supplier. They came out. They worked with us. They worked with the client, and we got
Like
it
the
all fixed up.
paperwork and the
Yeah.
emails and all that stuff will all be under the client's name. The claim will be under the client's name between, let's say, Billy and Gentech, for example. But we are the middle person, making sure that you
Yeah.
understand what they said and
Exactly. Because you understand already. It's like
that's right,
I'm
yeah.
like,
And
Yeah.
we also make the supplier understand where the customer's coming from.
oh,
And we had it so where the supplier sent out a quality control person just to make sure that we didn't install it incorrectly. And they did a full investigation or whatever, and they just said no, the CanMac did an excellent job. It's our siding that's the issue. So they comped us a box of siding and very little to install it. But we what I did was while that was getting approved and everything, I went and grabbed a couple sheets or half a box of whatever. We went and just replaced it for the lady before it got approved,
oh,
and just so that she has her house in
nice.
excellent shape. And then once it all got approved, she sent us over her certificates, which I think I lost.
Yeah. No, I have them.
Do you have them? So we have like a free box of siding and like, I don't know, lunch money for installation waiting for us somewhere.
Yeah.
If I
That's
find
nice.
it, but that's we did it all, even though it was the correspondence was between supplier and client, but we were
Yeah.
there
You got
every
involved
step
in
of the way. Yeah,
Yeah, so you actually care about your customers.
Absolutely.
we
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good.
I also like just hearing about all these different options and all the different ways that you can really install the siding. It's like just sounds like you have to be like somewhat creative in this business.
Yeah.
You know, so how many
Yeah.
times are you like, or how often are you thinking outside of the box when you're dealing with new projects?
almost every project has something, even if it's minor.
Yeah.
That little minor corner might make the rest of the house just like complete. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But in the grand scheme of things, it's just a little corner, and we could do it probably like a fix that will look decent. But we always try to go above and beyond, because at the end of the day, what we do is we rely on our work to our finished work to get more work. So I'll send, for example, we finish this house in a similar style to what you're looking for. Here's the address. Go check it out. And let's say you go to that house and then maybe you notice that little corner that we shortcutted on.
Mm.
You're like, maybe this isn't the guys for us, because they did great work, but the little things and the little details got missed or whatever. Whereas I send you to an address, I know that I would live at that house.
Yeah.
Because I know siding and I know the stuff, I know what to look for. I wouldn't send a customer to a house that I didn't 100% truly believe in. So that's a huge part of making sure that the houses that we work on and the houses that we showcase are literally perfect. Because I will send you and like whoever else to those houses to see our work, see how we do things, see how we finish things, and what you can expect if you were to go with us, how your house would look like.
The houses do the talking for us. It's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
advertising, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the main thing for us, is that I want to be able to send you to our past projects, and also the owners of the house, even if it's a builder that we went through, we know majority of the owners because they'll come and spend some time with us on the site. Sometimes they'll even bring some coffee for the boys. They're just curious and they just want to see the process of their house go up, and so you see them and you get to know them because you're there a month or 3 weeks or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So
and
they're
they're
there.
coming here initially too, right?
Sometimes they come here.
So I want to get into that a little bit. So when someone comes to you and they want a project done, number one, who usually is coming to you? Is it the homeowner or is it the builder?
If it's being through a builder, the builder usually reaches out. And what I say to them is, my showroom is your showroom. So if you want to come and use my showroom and our samples and stuff to make the sale or to kind of narrow down the options, because even the people that know they want Maybach or Fraser, they know they want that. But then you look at the Fraser board and the Maybach board, there's options on options on options. So then now we have to nail that down. And then what I'll do is, okay, so you like the modern profile in Coastal Charcoal? Here's an address.
Oh.
We did that exact house. On your way home today after, why don't you stop by there and check it out and tell me what you think. And you, instead of seeing a foot and a half of a piece, or you'll see a whole house.
Yeah.
And with long pieces and 12 footers and 8 footers and stuff like that. So you actually see what a house with this profile and that color will look like. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
Because once you nail it down, there's still a lot more to nail down.
So a builder will call you guys and then get either, well, most of the time they'll get their clients in here with you guys, but sometimes the builder will come too. And then what happens then? You guys come sit down?
Yeah, basically what first happens is they'll send us the drawings.
Okay.
I'll give them a quote based off of the drawings, something very preliminary, just to have like at least a ballpark of what this drawing would entail if you go with a vinyl or a hardy. Usually we give multiple options. We do a vinyl, a hardy, a wood, and like an aluminum. I'll give 4, maybe even 5 options, just to see the price range of it. You can be as low as 10 grand. It can be as high as 100 grand for the same house, depending on how you want to finish it. So they'll have those options, and then they'll come and majority of them they'll have option 1, 2, 3, and 4 laid out there, and like, okay, so when you priced me on the wood siding, which one is that? And then I'll walk them to the other room or here, and I'll show them, and then we'll go through the quote basically. And then as we're talking and going through warranties, they'll say, okay, you know what? Forget vinyl and forget aluminum. I'm gonna pick between hardy and wood. Okay, so do you like this about hardy, and what do you like about wood? Then we gather more information, and like it seems like maybe you're leaning more towards this one because of, and then I'll relist whatever they were talking about, and then that's when we have the one invoice. But then once we have the one invoice, then we have to pick color. How wide?
Yeah.
Do you want to be horizontal? Do you want to be vertical? Do you want zigzags? Because that can be done. I don't suggest
texture.
it.
There's the options go on and on.
Yeah, and then what kind of locking mechanism? Do you want a V groove? Do you want like a U channel? There's like all of these little options within the options. So basically, they'll come in. Sometimes they know exactly. I want wood siding 100%, and I want it to be horizontal, and they'll just pick the color here. Then that's it. Sometimes they'll come in and listen. Here's our drawing. It says wood siding for the drawing, but we're open to everything.
Okay.
Funky or not funky, or just standard. Like that house that we did with the big house with the white, that was in vinyl siding. Vinyl is technically the cheapest option out there. It's not cheap, but of siding, it's the cheapest option.
Yeah.
But it still looks like a multi-million-dollar house the way it was finished and the way, like the little details that are done there.
Yeah.
You can make vinyl siding look like $1 billion basically, if you know what you're doing and you play with the colors correctly and the whole thing.
I got you. So the builder will call you guys. They'll give you the drawings. You'll give them like 4, maybe 5 quotes of like different products.
Sometimes just the one, because they say it's wood siding
they
or
know
it's,
what they
it's
want.
hardy. So
I
it's just
got you.
depending on what they ask.
And then
I'll
they'll
give them-
come. They'll kind of choose depending on like, is it just color or the material? And then what happens after that?
Basically, then we get a confirmation of everything. And then I go to our suppliers. I'll go to Maybach or Fraser or Hardy or whoever they picked. I'll say I need 3,000 square feet of this with this much trims and starter and whatever. And then they'll say, okay, it'll be there in 4 weeks. And then I'll tell my client, okay, 5 weeks. You never know, right? 5 weeks, the material will be here. So on Monday the 14th, we're going to start. And then basically we just wait for material to show up, and then we show up at the house and bang it out.
Cool.
It's a little more simple. It's like not as complicated. Yeah, basically, you just pick what you want, and then we show up and install it. Basically,
Yeah. Okay.
The biggest, I guess, part of the process is like picking it.
Yeah.
How about finding you guys? Do you think people have like how should a builder pick their siding company?
It shouldn't be, and we come across a lot about this. A lot of the builders, they base it off of just price. And what I tell them is, while we aren't the cheapest, that's for sure. We aren't the most expensive either. But you are getting the most expensive quality for like a medium price.
A fair price.
Yeah, like you're paying Mercedes money for a Rolls Royce. It's still Mercedes money, it's still expensive. But you're getting a Rolls
So
Royce.
it sounds like you're getting a deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. When we do it, for
once
sure.
you see the project, when it's completed,
Yeah.
100%.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, definitely.
So on the website, we were talking about this a little bit, but the design tool. So who would be using the design tool, and like what kind of customization could you really achieve with that?
The one on the website is more for just your average house owner who just kind of maybe stumbled across us or things like that. That visualizer is you go outside the front of your home or the back or wherever, you snap a picture, you upload it, and then the AI kind of maps it out, or like, I don't know, it's far beyond my understanding, but you're able to then pick a wall or this or that and change it from, and it'll visually graphically put on like almost like, not like a cartoonish, but like an animated siding on your actual house. So it doesn't
like a rendering.
like a rendering, but it's not like a rendering. A rendering
It's
looks
not like-
almost realistic sometimes. This one you can tell that it's parts very real and then parts very fake. But it's used as a thing to just get a general idea of, maybe you have horizontal siding now, you want to get a quick look of what vertical will look like. So you'll get an idea, and then you're like, you know what, I kind of like it, I want to explore it. And then what I can do is, what we do here is with the hover program is, when we go out there, I walk around the perimeter, I take all the pictures that the program needs, and then it will make an actual interactive 3D model of the home. And you can do it off of blueprints, and you can do it off of just of physically taking pictures of an existing home. And then you'll get something like this, and you can move it upside down, flip it, look at this corner, that corner. You can change window colors, you can change door colors, you can change siding from wood to fiber cement, you can change it to vinyl, you can change it to pink, blue, whatever you want. And in this one, the hover one gives you a better look. And then what we can do is, once you nail down your design on hover, then we can also get a 3D rendering, like an actual rendering of what you designed with the program. So you just submit it to us. Like, I loved with the white trims and the black soffits and the blue siding and the whatever.
Yeah.
And this is what I like for my house. So then I can actually have them make a rendering and say, well, this is what it will look like.
So it
More
gives the
realistic.
homeowner and the builder more of like a picture, a visual.
Yeah,
That's right.
visual,
Of
yeah.
like what their home's gonna look like.
Exactly, yeah.
And so before this was around and you guys started using it, what was it like?
It was
Driving around the neighborhood, like, there's blue there on that house, so that's kind of what it would look like.
Yeah.
Or you rely heavily on the literature from the suppliers,
Yeah, the brochure.
their marketing, their pictures, houses that they've done in like Calgary, even like just to get an idea, because 10 years ago there was nothing like this.
So is this something you guys started using once you came in about 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I've been using Hover about a year now.
Okay.
We were using Plan Swift for drawings, but that doesn't give you an idea of like
Design
and appearance. That just tells me
Look for
that
measurements.
each trough is 30 feet, so I know how to.
Oh, it helps you, not really the visual.
So yeah, so I'm able to put like a take the elevation out and be like, when I said eaves troughs, the red lines are eaves troughs on your drawings. So this is where I priced eaves troughs. This is where I priced siding. This is where I priced the flashing.
Okay.
So you'll see like blue lines and red lines, but with a legend saying that red is eaves trough and blue is soffit or whatever. So, but that's a 2D,
Yeah.
and it's just basically a screenshot of your drawing, basically. So that's kind of what I was doing at first to kind of give somewhat of an idea of what you can expect in terms of the scope of work and where the flashing is going and where the siding is going. But in terms of design, there wasn't really much like this.
Are there many of your competitors using things like this?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't come across anybody. It isn't cheap
For the program?
It's on a per house basis. So you have your membership
really?
and everything
Okay.
like that. So you pay your membership for the year and you have access to all this, and then you pay depending on the size of the house. Blueprints cost more than actually taking a picture of the house. So it ranges anywhere between $100 to $300
Per house.
per house.
Wow, so you guys are actually making an investment too.
So
before you
it's
can
essentially
have
that's
it.
right. So like there's a bunch of these that I've done that we haven't booked the job for.
Close,
So
yeah.
it's like marketing loss or whatever you want to. That's how I chalk it up to. But there's been a lot of houses that maybe this secured it.
For
Yes.
sure.
So
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
on the 5 or 10 grand that I've spent on this, if I get 2 or 3 jobs, I've paid for my all
Makes
the
sense.
lost ones.
Uh-huh.
But even the lost ones, they're not lost. They're just
Not yet.
not yet.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a lot of people that say, "I want to know now in October, but I'm not going to be ready until June."
Yeah.
So that's like 9 months in
We
advance or
have
whatever.
clients that come back to us a
The-
year and a half later.
Does the price change from like that October to like June?
Our labor, for the most part, stays the same. It's if we get price increases from our suppliers sent out by email saying, so and so supplier of this particular siding has gone up 7% or whatever.
So it's like
So then I have to also increase my price so that at least my labor, which is what our profit is on the labor, that at least that number stays the same. So if there's a material increase on the material that you like, I have to charge you that.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not making it up. And what I do is I'll print off the form and say, hey, look, we need to order before November 25th. Otherwise, I got to charge you 10% more on material or 7% more or whatever. So I don't hide. I don't like. I show them everything.
Yeah,
Like,
and
look,
it's
this
not
is
a
what
sales tactic
Yeah.
or anything. It's like
No,
literal
no,
proof.
yeah,
this is
we're
what it
showing
is.
them,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not trying
Very
to just
transparent.
add it or anything like that. Or if you want to lock it in now before the thing, we have nothing to worry about. But just
Yeah.
wanted to make you aware that if we order after this, there's an increase. So like we get those from the suppliers and we haven't gotten them a lot
It's been a
recently,
while,
but
yeah.
this summer it was almost every day selling caulking up 7%, vinyl siding up 3%, this, that, whatever, 5%, 10%. So it's like it's not a huge jump, like 7% on something that costs like $3 a square foot.
Yeah.
So, but if you buy 5,000 square feet of it, it adds up quickly. The
Yeah.
cents on the dollar, basically.
Cool. Now to kind of, I guess, kind of round things out, if you could just kind of highlight some of like the short term and kind of long term goals that you have with CanMacSiding, whether it is kind of utilizing some more technology or trying anything different. I'm kind of curious as to what some of those could be.
Yeah, where's CanMacSiding going?
Well, we've had a lot of people reach out to us just to buy material. Like Nick and I would be doing our things here in the office or paperwork and whatnot, and a lot of people will stop in and ask, I know you guys are an install company, but do you guys also sell to the public?
I need 3 downspouts and an elbow to fix something in
Yeah.
my house, kind of thing.
It started off as just little things like that, but now we're having people reach out to, I need thousands of squares of sidings. And
Can I buy 10 boxes of siding from
and
you?
I want to do it. Yeah, and I'm going to do it. So what we've done is we've created this online store, which it's not out yet. We're still working on all the small details and things.
It's
putting
almost
it
ready to
together.
go.
Yeah, almost ready to go. And, it's for the DIYers that want to do it themselves.
Awesome.
And if they do decide, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it myself, no problem. We are here to back you up. If you need advice, help, whatever it is, we're
Nice.
here for you.
Nice. So you're starting the online store,
Yep,
and so then people can go and shop there, and
shop
then
there. Yeah.
they'll get shipped.
Either
Yeah.
they can come pick up from here at the shop, or
Nice.
if it's a bigger one, we can have it shipped
So it's
out
more
to you.
more for like, you've seen those reels or those TikToks that are like, why would I pay someone to do something I have no idea how to do?
It's to get those people
Yeah.
basically, and it's even like if you go to like, for example, the Gentex and the K-Cans, and when you go to their Hamilton or
Yeah.
wherever you got to go, at the front door it says not open to the general public.
Oh,
So then you have to go to Home Depot and get the Home Depot version soffit or whatever
and
that
what's
they
the
have there.
difference for like,
It's
someone that
it's
doesn't know?
cheaper, it's thinner, it's not as high
the best
quality,
quality. Yeah.
and it's more expensive because Home Depot adds
They're pretty.
They're
their premium
Yeah.
on it, right?
Yeah.
So by going through us, you get the higher quality stuff that you can't get access to, that you can't just go into a regular store and
Right.
buy.
When is that coming?
That's
few
actually
weeks.
in the next couple
weeks.
of
Hopefully,
weeks.
like a Christmas
yeah.
launch, we're hoping
Oh.
for.
Hopefully,
Okay.
hopefully, yeah, crossing our fingers. It's been a lot of work just because it's a
Thousands of
website
products.
that needs
bet.
to be customized, yeah, for the client to include the little details and stuff like that. So we just,
Interesting.
yeah,
It's
but
an interesting project. Might want to talk about that later.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's
That's
do it.
sick. You have any follow-ups on that?
I have nothing to add. I think this was a great conversation. We got a lot of footage. So
Yeah, it was really
I do want you to. You've told me this story before, but I want to get it on. Remember when you had like a lady, and
Oh.
she had like the insurance company, and it was like 3 insurance companies or something.
Oh,
They all came to
yeah.
you guys? Well, how was that again?
So, a couple summers ago, we get a phone call. A nice lady calls and says, "Hey, I have an issue with my siding. I might just need to get it repaired, or I might, depending on the cost, just replace the whole house and get something new." So I said, "No problem." I went out there. I took a quote. I don't know how it happened, but she had a bunch of aluminum siding that was like just hanging there. That even if another gust of wind came, a nice one, it could just wipe it right out, and a nice aluminum piece comes and hits your neighbor or even yourself.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like, it's one thing for
wild.
someone else, but if you're going through the pain too, like, but so I gave her a quote and everything like that. But I also told her, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna bring one of my guys out here right now to just nail it in temporarily, and then you take the numbers and you let me know what you want to do, because someone will like get
Definitely
hurt,
get hurt. yeah.
because it was a bunch of pieces on the
Yeah.
left side and a bunch of pieces on the right side. So I gave her her quote. She says, "Thank you very much." We nailed in the temporarily just until we hear back from her. Then we didn't hear back from her. This past summer, one of our contractors and businesses that we deal with on the regular basis says, "Hey, I have an insurance job. Here's the details. Do you mind giving me a price on replacing this, that with this, and send it over to me?" And he sent me the address, and then I'm adding the address into our system so I can make a thing. It says address already found. I'm like, what? I look it up, and it was that lady's house I went to the previous summer, and I looked it up, and I'm like, I have everything.
Now, how long ago was this from when you quoted it to the next person?
Whole year,
A whole year.
Yeah.
summer to
Yeah.
summer.
She was like quoting for a full year.
I think what she was doing was that because it was an insurance thing,
Yeah.
that she decided to go through insurance, and so that's what delayed it in terms of getting back to us. And now because the insurance has it, it goes through
Through them.
that system of people, and then and then it landed on one of our guys' desks, basically that we deal with, and he said, "Hey, I have a siding insurance job for you." I was like, "Fantastic," and then all I did was I said, "Don't mind the name. You already know the name on the invoice. Here's what I priced. You let me know if I should add anything or remove anything based off of whatever information." And he hit me back to know this is exactly what I was looking for. So I redid it under their company name, so they have it under there. And they said, "Thank you very much. I'll let you know how this goes." A day or two later, a company calls us saying, "Hey, I have a one we've never dealt with before."
Yeah.
Just out of the blue. "I have a job. I have drawings. I have this. I have that. It's an insurance job. Here's the address. Do you mind if you have time to swing by? Whatever. I said, "I've already done this quote, sir. Here you go." Within like 30 seconds of him calling. I was like, "Oh, well, that was convenient." And I said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
The next day, she gets an email
Yeah.
from another company that we've never dealt with. the same house, the same story, everything. And I'm just wondering like how many companies got this like just to get it quoted. So I'm not sure how it happened and how everyone got involved, but basically I quoted the same house 4 times
Yeah.
for 4 different people for the same owner,
Wow.
basically.
And then who went with it?
Still,
We still haven't heard back.
Still haven't heard
we
back?
still
Yeah.
haven't heard back.
and we were actually doing a house last 3 weeks ago in that neighborhood. It was one street over. So I just drove past it and nothing has been done. Like there's still holes in the wall and
No, when
everything
it
like
comes
that.
to insurance, it takes a while for things to move
Oh, yeah.
through. Yeah, it's all paperwork, really. It's what it is, and you're waiting on somebody's stamp of approval, and sometimes you could be waiting up to 2 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
For nothing.
For
nothing.
the tiniest of things. So you can imagine if your house is burned down and you need a whole rebuild, you're looking at 2 to 3 years
Yeah, you should
before
set up
they
shop
even
somewhere else
start.
for a while.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
That is crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a house on my street that got up in flames last summer.
No, it was last Christmas.
Was it
Remember,
last
it was
Christmas?
around Christmas time. Yeah.
From the
Hasn't
day
been
the
touched.
day after, the way it looked after the fire crew and everything got out, it looks the exact same today. Like
Really?
here, 14 months later or 12 months
Yeah.
later, something like that.
Yeah.
So insurances are very slow.
So do you work with them a lot?
We
Not the insurance companies, but we work with companies that work with insurance companies.
Okay.
So they're like the GCs, and we're like their sub to the GC
Oh.
kind of thing.
Okay.
So we usually deal with the GCs. It's my preference, to be honest with you, to work with the builders and the GCs because one, you get an ongoing relationship with them, so you know how to work and you know what this person likes, and they know what you can do. So they're
Yeah.
not. So there's a mutual respect and an understanding there, which is great when you're doing work all the time. But also, the GCs and the tradespeople, they, even if they don't know siding, they have a general idea of the work that needs to go into it. So it's a lot easier to explain to a builder, hey, I need to make this change because of A, Y, A, B, C. And they're like, you know what, that makes sense. Whereas on a house owner, like, we can't do what you want because once we took the siding off, we've discovered this or whatever. So we need to make this alteration. And to them, because it doesn't make sense, they're like, no.
They're like thinking, oh, they're just trying to get a few more dollars out of me.
I think that.
But for
yeah.
the most part, we don't even charge
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or anything. I just say, listen, the finish that you're looking for at this corner, we can't do.
Oh.
But we can do it like this. And it's just like, no, I really want it like
Just
this.
because that Pinterest
Yeah.
photo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Pinterest guy. It's Photoshop. It's
Yeah.
it's a lot of the pictures that we get shown. It's photoshopped or
Oh.
whatever. Like, this can't be done, or it can be done, but you're gonna have this line showing and that thing showing and whatever. Like, no, but on the picture it doesn't show. I'm like, well, I can really sit on Photoshop too and say, look,
Yeah.
Have you ever had any clients that that are just like you had like complete full control over like choosing the siding, like that whole process, or is
That's
most
a
clients
dream
very
client.
Yeah.
I think so.
trying to think.
I don't think we have. Like, we have our easy ones, right?
Yeah.
Some that are just super relaxed and chill and really trust us. And I think that's our one builder that we're doing this for. They trust what we can do for them. They've had a long relationship with Zoran, and so there's just whatever Zoran says, that's Bible. There is no going against that. So,
Nice.
but yeah, to have a client like that would be a dream client.
Yeah. Okay.
Even the ones you think are gonna be like that end up being the complete opposite,
bet,
and the
yeah.
ones that you think are gonna be like rude or picky or just a pain in the ass, and sometimes end up being like the best ones that'll leave you a Google review at the end too, which is like,
Yeah.
and you're like, wow, like I wasn't expecting it from this guy, but seems like he really liked us, and I was thinking of like, thank God we finished this job, like finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that guy's like super happy with us. And then there's the guy that smiles in your face and gets you donuts and whatever throughout the week. Right at the end when it's done and collection time, it's no, I don't like this and I don't like that and I don't like this. I'm like, but you've been here all week. You could have just told us. You could have just told us then, but now you tell us when it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you get
both sides.
you get everything basically.
Yeah.
It depends on who you're working with, depends on the builder, because sometimes the builder itself attracts a certain clientele. So I know when this builder calls, probably the client is like extra picky.
Okay.
And that's why they go to this builder,
Mm-hmm.
because they take care of the extra picky stuff. Whereas another builder is like, this one's guy looks a lot more relaxed. He's going to be more open to our ideas on how to finish the house. So it really depends. It's on the builder itself, because the builders choose their personality clients. So we kind of get an idea of what personality goes with that builder,
Cool.
and that their designs and their this and their that. So we kind of play with that. And that's coming through experience of doing multiple homes with this builder and doing multiple homes with that builder. Is you get an idea of what to expect with their clients and what their houses, their designs kind of, like, we know when this particular builder builds something that they'll probably have this and this issues, because that's their design. So we already know going into it that this corner and that corner, we're just going to do it like this, and because it's this person's house. And so we
So
have,
you're used to their work, so
you're used to their designs, used to their architecture, used to their
that's good.
all that stuff, and basically, yeah,
Is that most of your work, like repeating referrals?
I would say
Of those builders.
70,
Yeah, most of it.
80%.
Yeah.
You probably don't even have to talk about why they keep calling you guys back.
No, no,
Self-explanatory.
it's been good, and even on the new builders that we've recently started working with, it's 4 jobs, it's 3 jobs. It's like here's 4 drawings, and let me know about all 4 of them.
Nice.
And of the 4, we've already done like 2 of them. So it's like they'll throw everything. What I've, from my understanding, is a lot of people are lacking in the customer service department. Not being able to be found on the telephone, not responding to emails or text messages. That's been the huge thing that has separated us to start gaining all of these new builders that we've had. It's one of them said the sons, the 2 brothers, they took over the dad's business, and I don't like the way that the sons operate the business. I love the dad. We had a great 20-year relationship with the dad, but now that the sons, and he's retiring and the sons are taking over and he's winding down, I don't like the way that the sons operate. So I'm looking for somebody else. And that's a 20-year relationship and hundreds of homes built together, and it all came down to the sons on 1 or 2 projects, left a sour taste in their mouth, and now we're their preferred installers, and we've done 2. We just finished a project last week, and we got 2 more for them.
Nice.
And it all came down to customer service and the simple things: answering your phone, answering your email.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you say you're gonna be there at 10 o'clock or whatever, you're pretty much there. Or if you're like there at 10:30, like that other lady, you're letting them, hey, I'm running a little late. It's just open communication, back and forth. Even on their end, the builders, the subs usually get the short end of the stick, but sometimes it's the builder's fault. They didn't have this ready, or they didn't plan to have that ready, or they couldn't get the other 2 trades to do what they needed to do for us to start doing what we needed to do. So it's like, it's a back and forth. So sometimes it's their fault, sometimes it's our fault, because of sometimes the weather delayed us, so we're starting later. So, but it's about open communication. It's about that respect, and just always, even if it's bad news, you answer the phone.
Yeah.
Right? And you handle it. If it's shitty, it's shitty. If it's a tough conversation, it's a tough conversation. But if you don't have those conversations,
There's no
you get replaced.
Yeah.
Luckily, we were the ones that replaced the others, and I never want to be the ones to be replaced. But it all comes down to just customer service, because it is repeat business, and they are trusting us with tens and sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, and picking a new trade or a new builder, it's on both sides, right? So on the installer side, we don't know if this builder, let's just say, will he pay us at the end? We've never done work with him before. On the flip side is, will these guys put a house together like how I see on Instagram? So it's like a give and take at the beginning, but once you get that foundation and that mutual respect and the back and forth, it becomes a lot easier, and
you can just grow.
And you just grow together, basically.
Nice. I love that.
You know our tendencies, we know your tendencies, we know what you like, you know what the products that we like to install. Like some of our builders, they know that we like that one and this one. So when they price it out, they're like, hi, when you price out this, can you price out the cedar renditions or the CamClad specifically? Because they know that's our favorites and or whatever. So it's they know what to expect from us, what supplies we can provide them with,
Yeah.
and how mint their house can look at the end.
And so for the future, what's like the best ideal type builders that you want to be working with, like after March, and like when you're actually booking up, who do you want to like call you?
Well, everyone that we've done projects for to continue to call us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely
That's
at
a good
least
start,
that.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least to get those guys that we worked with last year and previously to keep calling, and basically just more. Not so much like, I don't care too much about like artistic freedom.
I do.
She does. What you want and how you want it, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Susan's more like.
I'm always looking for the crazy stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm always picking Zorn's brain. What about this and what about that? And I drive him nuts with it.
Really?
He's like, no. He wants to keep it simple and old school. But I'm like, but this, we need to be more modern. We need to get updated and try this, try that. But I always try to push the envelope, I guess, right, so to speak. But
So you guys are balancing.
we're,
each other.
Yeah.
we're balancing, yeah, we're balancing. I'm always looking for the new, exciting products, and can it work here? Can it work, with everything that we have to,
Yeah.
all the things that we have to weigh, the weather, like where we live, the durability, cost effect, like all these things, can it work? I'm always looking for ideas. And we'll be going to the builder show at the end of this month, where last year we found a whole bunch of like new and like innovative like products and stuff. This year we're excited to go, and I'm on the hunt for
Nice.
newer stuff. Yeah.
Is that in Toronto?
That's in Toronto,
Yeah,
yeah.
the convention
Toronto
center.
Convention Center.
The
29th, I believe it starts.
28th, 29th, and 30th,
Something like
I
that,
think.
yeah.
It's a 3-day.
Oh, a 3-day thing.
3-day thing.
Sounds like it's
And
gonna be big.
it is super cool. Yeah, it's a show just for builders and like people in the industry. It's not for just your regular like homeowner and
Yeah.
stuff. And it's to discover new products and things that are out on the market, make it easier, faster installs, and
Amazing.
stuff like
That's
that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we like hop off and finish, any last things you want the people to know? Anything that we might have missed? Any topics you want
I
to
think
touch on?
maybe I would like to talk about the fact that we have a really like kick-ass crew. Like I think that a
Yeah,
lot
highlight
of the
crew, yeah.
projects,
Yeah.
a lot of the projects that get done, like we owe it to our crew. Like they're just amazing, the stuff that they're putting out there, and they're just, I don't know, like I'm just like blown away every time I go to these projects. I'm just like, wow.
There's not
These
much
guys-
picking you gotta do,
No, well, lately, no, there hasn't been actually.
No.
Yeah, there hasn't been. But I'm just like, wow. Like we've got a good set of guys that all like vibe together, and it's a great work environment. And they're joking on the job site, and they're working, they're doing their stuff, and each one has their own strengths. And it just
They're
it
working as
vibes.
a team.
It's
Yeah.
almost like the siding dream team, I guess.
That's
awesome.
Right? Yeah.
It's been good because, as you guys can imagine, in any trade, to hire good help is very hard to find. Because on top of it, the very, very good ones usually just do it for themselves too, right? At least within siding and aluminum, because you can just buy a van and a brake, and you technically be your own business, right? So it doesn't take much in terms of a startup. So a lot of the really good guys will just buy a brake and a van and go, right? 30 grand, you're in business, so to speak, right? But with our guys, somehow I'm not sure how we've had a few bad eggs here and there, but we've been able to find a group that clicks together. And our youngest guy, I think, is like 22, maybe 23,
maybe something like
early
that.
20s, and our oldest guy is like 70. And
Wow.
you partner the 23-year-old with the 70-year-old, just them two to go on a job site, they're cracking jokes.
Nice.
They're making fun of each other.
Yeah.
They're having a good time.
Yeah.
They'll go grab lunch together. And the one guy was 50, like 5 years old when the other guy was born.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like it's not even, it's just and everyone is very multicultural. We have French Canadian. I'm Greek. She's Chilean. Zorn is Macedonian.
Izzy's
Bosnian.
Yeah.
So like it's like a bunch of different cultures, different religions and everything. But we all come together every month. We try to do a barbecue together.
Nice.
On a Friday, we'll cut the day like at 1:00. We'll come back, clean up, have like a little barbecue. Last time it was ours, Now our next one is going to be one of our other guys. He's going to host it, and
That's also rotates.
It rotates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we do things like that, and it's been good, and no fighting with the clients. It's just
No, they're
everyone's
really good with the
respectful.
clients. If the clients approach them too, they really know how to handle themselves and direct the
That's
clients to
important
the
too,
proper.
right?
Yeah, right. Because that doesn't always happen. A lot of times it happens. Truth be told, is they don't even speak the same language, right?
That's a
so
good point.
yeah, right. So and they can't relay the information to the client, right? The workers I'm talking about, not the
Yes.
actual project manager, right? So for us, that's important. If they have any questions, our guys can answer it, and we trust them 100% to answer it. But they're very good in letting them know, you know what, it might be something Susie or Nick need to deal with, so give them a call.
Yeah, but they'll
Yeah.
handle part
But-
of it.
Yeah,
They're
exactly,
not just gonna
yeah.
leave the
No, they're not going to
customer
leave the
just
customer
hanging.
hanging. Yeah,
Yeah.
not at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Yeah.
we've been fairly
We're
lucky.
blessed,
So
yeah.
it sounds like you don't have a lot of churn. Like you got your main crew,
Yeah.
and there's
To be
not-
honest with you, since we've started, everyone that we've hired, except for one, has stuck with us. So
That's awesome.
no one.
That is awesome because we have some clients too that are like that's their biggest problem. It's just like they have
Trying
to
to find somebody.
finding people,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
that could be a huge problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because even
believe
when we
me.
were looking these last couple of years to add, as we started to grow, you'll get 30 applications. You'll respond to all 30. Maybe 10 will respond back to you of the 30. So you've now lost 20 of the 30. And of those 10, maybe 2 will show up for the interview. And then if you hire one of them, it's still 50-50 if they show up on
You
the
may
first day
get
of work.
ghosted. We got ghosted.
Once, yeah.
We got
Recently,
ghosted.
actually.
We
Wow.
went through the whole hiring. We did the whole background check.
He filled
I
out all the
didn't do
paperwork. He
insurance,
gave all his
yeah.
IDs. I put him
Yeah.
on the insurance for all the vehicles and everything like that. And
Heard from him on a Friday. See you Monday. Monday came and
That's it.
ghosted
still
like
haven't heard.
nothing.
It's
Still
been
haven't
like
heard.
a couple months now.
Yeah.
He's doing well.
So I was like, is this something that happens? I don't know. Are people like
I-
ghosting employers now? I'm not sure.
It's one thing to, I guess, to ghost someone that you already work with and you're on your way out and whatever, you're not happy,
Yeah.
etc. But for someone that you were excited on Friday to start, here's all my information, here's my license, here's my this, here's my HST number, whatever. Here's all my she has sent out a bunch of forms to fill out.
Yeah.
Here's everything. I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Enjoy your weekend. And then to never even just hear, hey man, sorry, I whatever. I stayed with my current
My old
employer,
employer,
or I found
yeah,
somewhere else.
yeah.
I personally don't
Nothing.
care,
Yeah.
right? But it was weird because it just
Yeah.
it's weird.
Doesn't make any sense.
makes no
Yeah,
sense.
Yeah,
No, it
yeah,
doesn't.
It's one thing to be like come in for the interview and say, okay, great, I would love to start, and then never hear from them. But this guy filled out
He
everything,
went through
sent
Yeah.
IDs, is
99%
this, is
of
that.
everything. You just
I already had him
Yeah.
on the insurance policies. Like
Yeah.
that's how
That's
deep he was
crazy.
in, and then it was a ghost,
Wow.
which was like.
Are you guys hiring now? Are you looking to grow the team? Is that something?
I think
Getting
not to
out
hire
there.
immediately, but over the winter to hire for the.
To prepare for the
season?
next season. Yeah.
And so, what type of guys or people like will fit with your current team? Who's like the next 1, 2, maybe 3 men that you're gonna hire? Who are they? And like, how will they fit with your team?
Well, I mean, I don't think that we fully know until they're
Okay.
here working with our crew.
Because
As
if you
long as
look
they
at
have
our
the
crew now,
experience.
there's so many
Yeah.
wide-ranging personalities and likes and dislikes and experience and.
How many guys do you guys have right now?
Yeah, 9.
9. Yeah.
And is there any similarity that is the 9 that they all share?
Well, 2 guys are brothers, so
Yeah.
they're pretty similar. But everyone else, for the most part, is pretty like unique in their
Really?
Yeah,
Their
they're
likes, their
So it
personalities.
just sounds like they
Very
like
different.
working and the type
Yeah.
of work that they're doing.
Yeah, they enjoy what they do, and oddly enough, they enjoy each other, which is
Yeah.
Well,
weird.
I have seen
like-
one of those graphs that's like you spend most of the time with like the people you work with.
Yeah.
It's
But
true,
even
yeah.
like for me, because I used to work at Bombardier, and when I worked there's 4,000 people in the building, or 3,000 or whatever. And even in your area, there's hundreds. Like I was responsible for close to, I think at any given time, like 80 to 100 people in my area, which was pre-flight, which was the area just before the brand new airplane went out for flight.
Oh, okay.
So and you have a couple planes there. You have about 25 people per plane. So you have, and in doing that, I saw 18-year-olds right out of like school, and guys that are ready to retire at 70, and every personality, every religion, every whatever you want to say, I saw it all there. And I saw how quickly people can just not vibe with each other, and something small, but it's there forever. And in my experience with that, it's hard to come back from that once you get to that point with somebody that you work with, because they're not family, they're not your friends from school, they're not this is just someone you met last week, and you're like, I don't like this guy, and you'll never like that guy. And so like, even if he does good days here and there, there's always that underlying like, I don't like this guy, or whatever the case might be. So I saw a lot of personalities, thousands, and worked with a lot of different people, and a lot of people worked for me, and it was hard to sometimes get, hey, can you go do that and do this and do that? And it was a unionized environment there. So I was like, oh, that's not my job. That's not my job. I don't want. I'm like, well, are you an airplane mechanic or no? It's all under airplane mechanics. Yeah. I know, but I'm specifically on this part. So it was like you have to navigate some very tricky situations within like the union law. So and you can't just say, okay, if you're not going to work, then just go home. You can't even do that. You have to talk to the union rep and the this and the that. So I've seen it all, and now to see how these guys get along, and what they're doing is a lot more physical and a lot more grueling and a lot more harder on themselves than screwing a couple of things on an airplane or drilling some holes. Like, not to say that that's not hard work, but these guys are out in like 40-degree weather, climbing up and down a roof, sweating, lugging a bunch of heavy stuff up. So it's a lot more grueling, but they seem to be a lot happier with each other, which is very rare. At least in my experience.
Those type of teams and environments are built like yours.
Yeah.
And it's different if you got like 5 guys, 6 guys, all like 32 years old, and all like the same things and stuff. That's easy. But when you have different religions, different from 20 to 70,
ages,
different experiences. There's guys that have been doing it, like her dad, for 40 years, and then our youngest guy's been doing it for a year and a half. So like, there's just
But you wouldn't even know. Like if they were side by side, you would have no idea. He has poured everything into learning how to do siding. And now he's just like, he's amazing at it, right? Like you can't even tell. Like it looks as if he's got 20 years of experience on him, and because he's learned from Zoran and from Carlos, right? So
we also try to incentivize as much as possible.
The employees.
The employees, yeah. I like the younger ones. I said, listen, like this last summer was his 1 year, and I said, here's your raise and your pay and everything like that. And I told him, you're going to be stuck here forever if you want, until you show me you want more. And I explained to him what more would be for me. And he said, I'm down. So I told him, if you show that to me tomorrow, I'll bump you up tomorrow. But if you show that to me in 10 years, you're going to be at the same level for 10 years. So as fast as you want to get to the point, as how me and Susie laid it out for you, is how fast you're going to get to that next bump up and that next position. So what we're trying to do is the guys that we have now is eventually them to be all like team leads or whatever,
Project
and then have 3 or 4 guys under them, where technically they won't be working together how they used to, but they all learn together, and now each of them have their own little crew that they have.
Sounds like you're building something massive.
Yeah.
Eventually, I want to be able to say I have 20 crews or 15
crew,
crews or 10 crews or whatever,
which is doable, right?
Which is doable,
but
but it's going to take, in the manner that we want to do it, and the quality and the service and everything that we want to portray, it's going to take a little bit longer, because there's going to be a lot of trial and error with the people involved, right? We've been very lucky that we've hit like a 90% success rate on who we've brought in and thing. We have a few here and there that, like the guy that ghosted us that never even showed up. But we've been very lucky, and I think even because we've been so lucky, we started to feel like we can't do no wrong on hiring, and then we get ghosted. Like, as soon as I told him, like, everything else is like worked out when I had this feeling, like, cool, this guy seems alright too, and then you get like a reality check right
Yeah.
away. Like,
Yeah.
you had a good run, but it's not like this for everybody.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So it's that was, I wouldn't say humbling, but it was like a friendly reminder that not everyone is
Yeah.
who they say
Like
they
you
are.
got checked a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.